Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sean, Nerd Dad Extraordinaire, here to talk to you about WGU, Episode 2. So, I'm going to bring up my little script here because I'm not very good at just speaking extemporaneously. So, in my last video, I basically just announced that I was going to be creating this series about the WGU accounting program because I'm going to be going through it. What I want to talk about next is a little bit about me and what led to my decision to going into WGU and why I chose the bachelor's degree in accounting and all that. So, when I was 16, I got my first job in grocery, where I was a bagger. And I stayed at that job until I got into college, where I was then a cashier. Ooh, customer service. When I started out in college, when I went to my first university, I was a music education major. My goal was to be a music teacher. That's what I wanted to do. But as I got into the program, essentially being judged for my performance as a music major, I decided that is not the decision, not the route I wanted to go. So I decided to change my major. But I had no idea what to change my major to. I will talk more about that decision in a later video. I decided to look at different programs that weren't going to take 4 years. I looked at the 2-year tech college at the college where I attended. I was going to decide between two different majors. It was either going to be building construction technology or business technology. And I decided on business technology because it was something that I could do year round. It was 40 hours a week. It was going to have benefits. And my original goal was to be an administrative assistant for the state where I live, which would have like state benefits and all that stuff. So I started into the Associates of Applied Science in Administrative Management, which is just a fancy term for I wanted to manage an office. Get to about semester 2 of that program, and I went through my very first accounting class, which in this class, it wasn't just like all the theory and all that stuff. It was the literal bookkeeping, writing down in manual journals, and transferring to manual ledgers type of bookkeeping. And to be honest, I think that was the class where I fell in love with the idea of accounting, because it was just so structured and organized, and you just knew what was happening in the business, assuming that your transactions were accurate. Right about that time, I also got a different job working at a office supply store, remanufacturing toner cartridges. I will talk about that in a different video as well. Well, fast forward to the summer of 2013, and I get my Associates of Administrative Management. I decided right then and there that I wanted to get my bachelor's degree in accounting from the university I was attending. Turns out that wasn't such a great idea because I was already, now drum roll please, $44,000 in debt. That's right, I had this big old fat number floating over my head. I had a very fun conversation with a friend and decided to drop out of college after my first semester in business school. While I was at the College of Technology at my university, I also obtained an intermediate certificate in accounting technology, which was basically just 2 extra classes. My first professional gig outside of college was working in payroll for a large-sized agricultural firm outside of the town where I lived. So it was about a 35-minute drive from where I lived. And that was a pretty intense job because it was payroll for between 150, which was the base number of employees, to about 500 employees during harvest. I was cutting manual paychecks for about 200 employees at a time while I was doing direct deposit for about 150, which were the, again, base employees. Then I was asked to step into a special projects role at that job. And while that position was a lot of fun, I experienced something there that changed my mind about working at that firm. I will talk about that experience in a different video as well. So I started applying for other jobs, and I got a job at my current organization doing payroll there as a payroll specialist. It paid a whopping $5 more an hour than the current job I was working. For those out there that can't do quick math in their head, that's $10,400 a year. So obviously I took that job in a heartbeat. And it was in the same town where I lived, so the commute shrank down from 30 minutes to 6 minutes. I decided I was going to work really hard for this organization and do my best work. My supervisors, the controller and the CFO, saw the work I was able to perform, and they thought, this guy's just not doing payroll, he's also doing accounting work for us. So during COVID, I was asked to step into a promotion to be an actual accountant. That promotion came with about $1.75 an hour raise, which was already really good on top of the couple of 3% I got from being there 2 years. And that is my work history as of right now. We can dive a little more into my history in a later video if you want. Just let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it. But the next thing I want to talk about is the actual admission into WGU. The admission process starts with you filling out an application. If you pay the $65 application fee, you weren't looking very hard for a application fee waiver. They hand those out like candy. So next time you log on to the website, more than likely you will get an offer to waive the $65 application fee. But after you fill out the application, you will be connected with a WGU representative. They usually call you via your phone number that you provide in the application. Once you kind of let them know what you're looking into and what you're trying to accomplish, they'll connect you with your enrollment counselor. Your enrollment counselor's job is to make sure that your transition from not being a student to being a student is seamless. Right around this time is when you're going to submit for your official transcripts to be transferred over to WGU. You can either do it via the physical copies or you could do it electronically via a clearinghouse, assuming that your university was connected to the transcripts clearinghouse. My university was, and I spent $10.43 to get my transcripts transferred over to WGU. And it only took 2 weeks for them to get my transcripts and for me to be able to get my credits transferred over. Now, I'm going to switch over my camera here. Ooh, screenception. And then after about 2 weeks, you're going to receive a piece of paper in your email that looks a lot like this. This is essentially my transfer evaluation. Now, if you look, you'll see that all my basic generals were cleared because of my Associates of Applied Science. Okay, that is where the meat of my transfer credits came from. I did take a business statistics class in that very first semester in the accounting program, and that cleared the quantitative analysis for business course. I also took a world of business class in that first semester that cleared fundamentals for success in business. I took a legal environments of orgs, which is actually part of my Associates of Applied Science, and that cleared Business Environments Applications 1, Business Structures and Legal Environment. But that was it. Other courses that could have been cleared can be cleared because you have certifications or because you have an associate's degree in business. They didn't count my associate's degree in business technology as a business associate's degree. That's why a lot of these lower level business courses aren't cleared. I am currently on this class, Information Technology Management Essentials, and it's been a fun one. More on that when I actually pass the class. Really what I'm looking forward to are these ones. Woo, accounting! And then down here at the bottom you'll see your transfer totals. The total competency units, which is their name for credits for the accounting program, is 121. I got 36 generals transferred in, 5 other classes transferred, and that leaves me with 80 competency units left, and I cleared about 33.88% of the program. My transfer GPA was about 2.97, which is pretty accurate if you were to look at my unofficial transcripts from my previous university. And then down here, it's essentially this is the very last page. They basically tell you why certain things don't get transferred in. My accounting classes that I took before only had financial accounting and not managerial accounting. Principles of Accounting class here at WGU has both, so that's why they didn't accept those credits. But I passed that class. It really wasn't that hard. And And then I got no transfer credit from the spreadsheet course because it was over 5 years that I had taken the course, or almost exactly 5 years. Technology courses aren't accepted after 5 years. After all your credits are transferred and everything's kosher, you're going to be matched up with your program mentor, and they're going to assign you to a orientation course. Orientation course just talks about WGU, just talks about WGU's educational philosophies and why they do the things that they do as a university, and it's going to be your first example of a course where you have to submit a paper. The paper is really easy. They give you a template. You just upload the template with your responses, and that was good enough. That is usually done 15 days before your actual start date, and your start date is usually the first date of either the following month if it's before the 15th, or if it's after the 15th, it will be 2 months later. So I started the enrollment process in June of 2020, but started my official classes on August 1st. Once all that's done, you'll be matched up with your program mentor, and that person's job is just to help you through the program. You tell them what's going on in your life and how things are going. In your first term, you're going to be meeting with them once a week, either via phone or Zoom, or sometimes just email and text message. Really, their job is to make sure you stay on track and you complete the courses. It's really quite nice, actually, to have someone to talk to about what's going on, and they're able to kind of encourage you and help you with what you're trying to accomplish, and it's just good to have that accountability. Now, for the last little section here of this video, I want to talk about the cost of WGU, which is pretty fundamental to how they do things. Let's go and look at the website and see what it says. So here I am on the actual accounting programs page at WGU, and I'm looking under cost and time. They say $3,225 for a 6-month term, $145 flat fee for all your books and learning resources, which comes to about $3,370 plus your $65 one-time application fee, which more than likely you will get waived. Now, this number is actually very, very close to what I paid. I paid closer to $3,500, but the only reason why was because I used my debit card to make the payment, and they charge you a convenience fee on top of that, which for me was like $180. So it came closer to about $3,500. Now, how I was able to pay for my first term, I didn't take out any student debt, I didn't get any loans, I didn't get any grants, I didn't do anything like that. Because for me, I don't want to add to my already huge pile of $44,000. So I'm not gonna. It's pretty important to me that the amount that I spend on this program comes straight out of my pocket and I don't owe anybody for it. That this is something that I paid for with my own dollar. So how I was able to pay for my first semester was before COVID, or I guess I should say before the lockdown of COVID that pretty much the whole world experienced and are still experiencing today. My wife was pregnant with our daughter. My daughter was born in March. When we found out that she was pregnant with her, we started saving up money beforehand. So we were piling cash in our savings account, and the amount of our savings was actually more than what we needed to spend on paying off our daughter, essentially. So I took $3,500 and just threw it at the program. Some of you may not be in a position where you can cash flow the program, such as me and my wife. My wife is a very successful manager in her position, and I've done well to climb the ranks where I'm at. And we've managed to keep our living expenses very low. But if you do the math, it's about $292 a paycheck to save up $3,500 in 6 months. So round that up to $300 a paycheck and you will have plenty. Some people, like I said before, I know are not able to put aside $600 a month. That requires a level of margin in your budget that a lot of people just don't have. Me and my wife have really pushed ourselves to have that much margin. And we're still able to throw extra money on our student loans. So I understand where some people are coming from where they feel like they need to take out debt. On the other hand, I have a friend that decided to go through WGU with me, and he is basically able to pay for the program with Pell Grants. So don't be afraid to look into other sources of payment. Also, you can apply for tons of scholarships. WGU has tons of scholarships you can apply for. I was able to qualify for probably 6 or 7, but I didn't apply for them because I didn't even fill out the FAFSA. And some people are like, Sean, it's the FAFSA. It's literally free. It says free in the name. But I didn't even want to take a step towards taking out any more student loans. I don't want any more debt. We're trying to pay off all of our debt. Shout out to the OG Dave Ramsey. Hey guys, quick editor's note here. One of the topics I didn't touch on that was like one of the main points was like why I decided to go back to school at the time that I did. Essentially, it's a few things. So I got my promotion. That was a big deal, earning a little more money. And my supervisor told me that I should be working towards my bachelor's degree over the next couple of years because he will look into moving me up again after the 2-year period is up, assuming I complete my bachelor's degree in that time, which I'm pretty sure I'll be able to complete my bachelor's degree in exactly 2 years, if not a little less than that, because one of the cool things about WGU's competency-based education is that when you prove that you are competent in a subject and you take the exam, you pass it, and you can move on to the next one. That's one of their big selling points. So there are some people that are able to knock out their programs like really, really fast. Some people have knocked out entire bachelor's degrees in 6 months. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit before I wrap up the episode. So yeah. So that's all for this episode. I hope you gained something out of it. If you have any questions or comments, you can comment below like always. You can subscribe if you want to, but I don't care. This is just for informational purposes only. No ads, purely for you to know what's going on for the WGU accounting program and what it looks like as I go through it. Hopefully my experience, you'll gain something from it. Anyway, this nerd dad is out of here, and I'll see you next time.